CQRA. Quality never costs, it pays.
Welcome to the CQRA podcast, where we bring you prominent voices and industry insights from the construction and engineering world. This is where we discuss the ever-changing industry landscape from the perspective of construction quality, environment health, and safety, creating a repository of ideas that will shape how the industry in India will build and forge ahead. CQRA is a leading inspection and certification company based in India that independently inspects and manages quality and safety at a wide range of construction projects in the country and in the Middle East through a judicial mix of cutting-edge technology solutions and on-ground site management skills. CQRA has a strategic tie-up with Advanced Construction Technology Services, Beirut.
Our guest today is Mr. Rao, who is a highly experienced fire safety professional and the president of the Institution of Fire Engineers, India. He has a PhD in hospital fire safety and is a fire engineer with over 36 years of work experience in the fire safety industry. Mr. Rao retired as the director of Uttar Pradesh Fire Service, which is the biggest state fire service in India. With a master's in engineering, specializing in fire and focused on robotics from Nagpur University, he has presented papers at the Society of Fire Protection Engineers and National Fire Protection Association in the USA. Mr. Rao is also a senior consultant to the Assam Fire and Emergency Services. Welcome to the CQRA podcast, sir.
Just to introduce the topic of fire safety, Mr. Rao, can you provide us an overview of why fire and life safety awareness is essential for individuals and for communities?
If you take the example of India, every year from 15,000 to 25,000 people are dying due to fire incidents. So this has become very important to save the life and the property in India. So that awareness is very much required. Fire starts from a very small, it may be any building like residential, commercial or industries. And when it is not controlled in the initial stage, that becomes a big fire and people lose their life and the property also. So the education, fire safety education is very important. One more thing I want to tell, that approximate 75% people die not due to fire injury but due to inhalation of the smoke and the poisonous gases. So how to react in the fire, how to extinguish the fire, and how you come out from the danger zone to save your life is a very important. So fire education, that's why it becomes very important.
I see. So, you spoke, in fact, very in detail about what are some of the practical tips also in terms of education. It also means people should know what to do in case of a fire, which is something really missing in the country.
Yes,
this was all about, we were talking about education, and this was more focused on what people should know in case of a fire. All that happens. But in fact, when we construct a building, we begin from regulations. Even when the building is not built, there are certain regulations and standards laid down in government codes that developers, project managers, the entire construction team should follow. So what are these regulations and standards that buildings are required to follow regarding fire safety? In short,
actually,
if you could tell us.
Government of India, this fire service is a state matter. So Government of India always give a direction to the state services, state government. So they make a model fire force direction bill and they circulate to every state and union territories. Union territories are in the under the central government, so they follow each and everything mostly. And state government, as per their local requirement, they adopt this directions of fire safety in their building bylaws. So every state is having their own building bylaws, and one national building code of India is there that gives a technological knowledge. What are the fire safety measures are available? What installations you do in different types of occupancy like residential, educational, institutional, etc. And this is when this is adopted by the building bylaws, so that becomes a law. So
Right.
every builder should follow the techno-legal regime. It means whatever it is written in the National Building Code for the fire and life safety and the local laws. And every builder should follow as per the fire safety measures as per the building bylaws and National Building Code while developing the building.
Okay.
Okay,
And
Shakti.
yes, and how do regulatory bodies ensure that these standards are followed? And what are the consequences of non-compliance?
So once somebody wants to construct a building, there are two types of building for the fire safety. One is a high-rise building. If its height is more than 15 meters, normally in the whole India, but few states like Maharashtra, they say that due to land scarcity, any high-rise building, if it is more than 24 meters, then it is called high-rise building. But other state, they follow the National Building Code, where they call it any building is having height more than 15 meters, then it is called high-rise building. So
Okay.
there is a procedure whenever any builder or any person want to construct the building. He should prepare the detailed drawing, including the fire safety measures in the drawing, and submit to the approving authority like development authorities. Development authorities, they send their drawings to different agencies who is involved for permission. So one of the authority is a fire service, local fire service. They are the regulator for the fire services. See, they see two things. One is called fire safety, and second is called life safety. So fire service scrutinized the drawing in the view of the fire and life safety, and they sent their recommendation to development authority. And after receiving the letters from the different local authorities, development authority issue the first approval of the drawing for the construction of the building. After the construction of the building, the fire service visit before the occupancy. So whatever they have given the recommendation, it is a following or not. If
Okay.
it is not following, the occupancy certificate will be not issued. Second thing, there are so many states, they have had punitive power. Previously it was not there. So if you not following the fire safety measures, so they can fine also.
Right.
That you have not done as per the law or as per the approval of the drawing, and you are hereby fined by such and such rupees. So every state is having something different than this is not common, but something they are having.
Right. So after this, there's also fire safety audits which are conducted in buildings that are already constructed. First, we talked about what happens when somebody wants to construct a building and how to adhere to fire safety regulations and codes. But when it's the time of fire safety audits, what are these non-negotiable sort of parameters in a fire safety audit?
You are right, 100% right. Because this is a fire service is a state matter. So in few states like Gujarat, Maharashtra, they are having provision for the third party audit
Yes.
because the fire service is a regulator. So they are having provision. So actually, if you are altering any construction, suppose you take the example of setbacks. Normally, fire service required 6 meter space all around the building for the movement of the fire service vehicles. So, in after some time, people start parking their cars. Some people they construct some temporary structure in that thing, and suppose staircase is there, they are not maintaining a staircase for the escape, and they are not maintaining, and they are using as a stove. So
Yes.
their system is not working. Drills are not, fire drills are not there. So this is required for the audit purposes that you are doing the things which is recommended for doing, because all the time, most of the time, you will find the fire installations. It may be detector system, hydrant system. They are dormant, means they are not used always. So that's why there should be daily drill. How starting of the pumps, checking of the detectors one by one, displaying posters, circulating papers for the fire safety, doing drills once in a 6 month. These are the requirements that have been already given. Provision is already there, but most of the occupants they don't follow these things. So
Okay.
third party that helps to remind them that this is the provision, and for the fire and life safety you have to do perform your duties also. So that's why third party audit is required.
Yeah, that's very, succinctly and rightly put, sir. Um, I also further want to ask you that depending on the type of structure or the building, whether it is a residential or a commercial or a hospital, what should be the inspection period interval, between fire audits or third-party fire audits?
Actually, there are, again I will say that this is a state matter. So some state is having that you have to go for audit every year, and some state has following something else. Like if you take the example of Uttar Pradesh,
Okay.
so residential buildings once they have been given a occupancy certificate, so up to 5 years, there will be no inspection from the regulatory authority. But whenever there is a problem, they can go anytime. And for the commercial things, they have prescribed 3 years that you should go for an audit. But as per our experience, if not more money is required, that should be done every year. So you can understand what is the problem, because they are used once in a very long time, firefighting things. So it should be always ready to use. So that's why audit, training, this is required.
Okay. The next subject that I want to talk about is fire safety technologies, which we think is an important aspect, because when you say fire, a lay person would just think of pouring water or sand and somehow stopping the fire. But this area has undergone a sea change. There are a lot of advanced technologies that are available, and we would like to know what are these innovative technologies that are available to enhance fire safety in various types of buildings, be it commercial, institutional, or residential, or workplaces. What are these new technologies that people need to be aware of and that are in use and available?
So you are 100% right. Mostly water is the main extinguishing agent. But as per the hazards, sometimes it is recommended that on the electrical fire you don't use water because you get the shock. But if
Yes.
you are dealing the petroleum product or any hazardous product, so there some special type of extinguishing media is there, like dry chemical powder we call it, petroleum products foam is there. But nowadays few new things have come up other than the fire detection system and the hydrant system. So that suppose some hazardous storage is there, so there should not be any fire. So that chemical or equipment reduce the percentage of the oxygen, because for any normal, if you take the normal condition, 16 to 18% oxygen is present for our inhalation, or so they reduce less than whatever is required for the burning of anything. So that technology is there, but this is not for every occupancy. This is for the godowns, etc. And high pressure water sprays are also being used very well in so many installations. So extinguishing media is a new nowadays new technologies are coming up very nicely, but it is a very less. More work is going to be. So nowadays we are also using remote control robots, etc. for the extinguishing the fires also. Drones are being used for fighting the fire also.
I'll just get back to again fire attitudes and what happens in homes and workplaces. What are some of the often overlooked fire hazards that are there in homes and workplaces that people should be aware of? And can you tell us some real life examples of incidents that have been caused by very common sort of fire hazards which are quite completely preventable?
Because you are an architect, I must know when you design any home or any working office, etc. You provide whatever load is there, whatever electrical points are required. But after some times, you will find that they are using with multi plugs and increasing the electrical load. That is the most of the cause for the fires, you can say. Nowadays the new challenge is also there, interior decorations. When you construct your office, house, etc., so you don't think for the interior decorations normally. So after few years, whenever you get proper finance, you again go for the interior decorations. So there was a research paper from USA that in sometimes there was a lot of fire in the buildings. So government have surveyed what was the cause. So they found that the interior decoration materials are the main cause of the fire spread. So they recommended that they should go for a fire resistant material. You use whatever you want to use, but it should be fire retardant. It should be treated with the fire retardant paints or solutions, etc. So that fire reduced to 35%. So I will also say for the architect, so they must think, because I discussed these things with the Association of Interior Decorators. Mostly they are architects. So they also agreed, sir, that this is the big problem. So we should work on that thing.
That's really a pertinent point that no one thinks of fire safety while doing interior work? So, what are the materials that are being used? Uh, Moving on, this also talks about the attitude of owners or occupants towards fire safety. Everybody thinks that a disaster is not going to happen to me. So that
Yeah.
sort of informs the whole, prevention taking attitude or
Yeah.
measures. So we know, from your earlier discussion, what we discussed earlier, that in awareness is really low, especially in India. But can you also tell us a specific case study where fire safety awareness made a significant difference in a community, that it sort of really changed an attitude or something that was really positive that happened in a community that probably you may have worked or you may have seen something during your career?
Yes, ma'am. Mostly, in initial stage, I told you that whatever things are provided in the building, that is not for the fire service people. Buildings are having extinguishers or small firefighting equipment, hose reels, etc. for water. So every occupant must know two things. One is how to escape in case of an emergency. Second thing, they must know if there is a fire, how to use the first aid firefighting equipments. This is just like in medical, we recommend that every vehicle or every house, every office must have, industry also must have first aid medical boxes. So in same terms, we call it first aid firefighting equipment. So whatever it is provided, that should be known to everybody, that in case of fire, how to use it. But normally you will find that that is not there. So we have seen there was a fire in some office building. So people thought that that extinguisher is there. They throw it then the fire, and they think that it will work and extinguish the fire. So that is not there. It's like that. There are so many, like this is hanging the curtains very near to stabilizer or AC, very near to lights. Sometimes you find that previously, few years back, halogen lights were there. So
Right.
in temporary structures, we found that it get hit up to a very high temperature, 500, 600, 700. After some time, it gets fire. So there are so many negligence, you can say, that we have to avoid. We should learn what is the consequences of that, and we should learn. Or doing press, people when there is no electricity, they keep it on the cloths, and after they forget what was the I was pressing, and electrical supply is on, then it takes fire. There are so many things, Ruti, that we must know what can become a cause of fire. So that is also required. They should discuss in the house. That's why I told you that I found the best fire education from the kids. When they are trained, they will go house and they will tell to everybody that I have learned this things, so there will be no fire. Being architect, you are architect, we recommend that above the burners you don't make your drawers, etc. While if you are taking something and your clothes can catch the fire, avoiding the synthetic clothes in the kitchen, etc. There are so many things that
Right.
everything is a big thing, every sector you can say. So that
Yeah.
take we cannot explain in very short time.
Exactly.
How you will be safe from the fire?
Yes, so it was a very informative sort of session with you, where you told us that there are so many potential fire hazards in our homes, in our workplaces, or wherever we go outside. So awareness is really the key. That's where it all sort of starts from, and awareness in the younger generation. So as they grow older, they
Yeah,
take that